Today, I'm talking about the time management issues you have when you have an executive function deficit with ADHD. And I'm also going to talk about the solutions that can help you right now, today. Issue number one, time awareness. Well, no time awareness when you have ADHD. You actually have time blindness. And I'm not talking about where they put a blindfold over you and can't see the clock. What I'm talking about is that you just aren't aware of the passage of time. You can be thinking the time is one thing or one time, and it is a completely different time than what you think of. And that can be a real issue when you're trying to be on time for something. So think about it. You have an important event you want to get to and you're not aware of the passage of time, you're generally going to be late. And that can be bad for a really important event. Like you want to be there on time, but you can't because you're just not aware of the time. Like when you have an appointment and you have to be there at a certain time, so you estimate how much time you think it's going to take you to get dressed, get everything ready, and get there. And that's why no one likes time blindness. You want to be aware of time, you're trying to be aware of time, but you just can't. You've got things you need to do at certain times, you got places you need to be at certain times. And hey, I've got 7 hours, I'm good. And then you start doing this other thing, and you're not realizing how much time has passed since you started that thing. And then you miss the thing you need to do or the place you need to be. You're just late and you just miss it. First, I'm going to give you some common ways that people deal with time blindness, and then I'm going to give you some other ways I thought of, so stick around. One, have a clock anywhere in your field of view. As long as you can see it, you'll be aware of time. Two, use a timer for anything that you need to do for a certain amount of time. Set the timer for that time, and when that time has passed, it will ding to let you know that time has passed. Three, use calendars for any event that you need to do that is forward on another date. You set a calendar date on it, and then you set reminders to remind you. I've got like 6 reminders set on the day of. That may sound strange, but I need those reminders. You may have more, you may have less. Whatever you need to do, however many reminders you need to have, then you set those reminders so you don't miss that appointment on that day that you need to be there. There are a couple different ways to keep aware of the time. One, go old school, sunlight style, sundial style. Look outside, see how bright it is. Depending on the brightness, will tell you what time of day it is. I mean, if I step outside, it's super bright, then I know it's around noon. I know that darkness means night. I know everything in between either means morning or evening, depending on what time I got up or did something or went here or went there. Now, this does not work if you can't go outside or see outside. If you have blackout curtains in your house or apartment in your room to where you can't see outside, to where you're making sure no sunlight gets in, then obviously this method won't work, at least in this way. And I say that because you can't get a sunrise clock. And what a sunrise clock does, it has light on it that simulates the time of day. So it's really cool. You can tell what light is outside. And so this is really cool. It is one way to avoid having to go outside or look outside. You just look at the clock, amount of lights coming off the clock, then you know what time of day it is, and then you can use this method as well. Another thing about sunlight, when it hits your body, it's telling your body to wake up. It energizes you. Your body is ready in response to sunlight. So if you're sleeping and the window's open and sunlight strikes your body's gonna be like, hey, we need to get up right now. The other thing you can do is make yourself a playlist. Doesn't matter how long it is, 60 minutes, 30 minutes, 15 minutes. And the reason that you want it to have a definitive amount of time, because if the playlist is 60 minutes and it ends, 60 minutes have passed. It's an easy way to tell how much time has passed from the time you started to the time that you ended. Now, the other thing that you will notice once you have a playlist and it's playing, you'll realize certain songs come at certain times in the playlist. And so if you have a 60-minute playlist and a certain song always comes at 15 minutes, then 15 minutes has passed. And you know what the last song in your playlist is. So if you have a 60-minute playlist and it's on the last song, 60 minutes has passed. And one more great thing about this is if you want to do something for just a certain amount of time, you make a playlist for that amount of time, and then you say, okay, for this amount of time, I need to do this thing. I'm going to turn on my playlist, and I know when it is done, I'm done with the time that I'm doing this thing. That thing needs to end, and I can go on to something else. Another issue when you're talking about an executive function deficit and time management is going to be time estimation. How good are you at estimating how long something is going to take? Are you bad at it? Or are you really good at it? Now, in your mind, it's only going to take you this amount of time, and you are sure that you can get there at that certain time that you need to get there. And even though you know that you can get there in this estimated time, like you are sure you can get there, you end up still being late to that appointment. And no matter what you do, this happens all the time, and you are trying and trying as much as you can, but it still happens that you arrive at appointments late. And it has nothing to do with you not wanting to be there on time. This has nothing to do with you not trying to get there. It's about having an executive function deficit, and that creates a time management issue and that creates a time estimation issue. Like you estimate the time to be one thing for you to do whatever you need to do, but the actual time that's going to take you is completely different. And that's because with ADHD and these time management issues, you think, okay, I get on the road this time, I get dressed this time, I get out the door this time, I'll be good. However, little things can get you off track. Losing your phone, losing your wallet, losing your keys, having to look for all that stuff, having to look for your purse or your bag that you need to take with you, having to look for a specific paper or thing that you need to take with you to the appointment. All these little things add up. And maybe traffic was just off that day, but you didn't put any of these things into your time estimation. How could you? You didn't know that they would happen, but they did, and now your time estimation is off. So how do you fix this issue? And the best way to fix this is a time cushion. You estimate something's going to take you 1 hour. You really need to estimate that thing is going to take you an hour and a half. And the reason is because it gives you more time in case anything incidental happens. Don't fall in the trap that, hey, I've got an hour and a half, I'll leave it an hour and 15 minutes. That'll still give me a lot of time. You want as much time cushion as you possibly can have. And sometimes you have to trick yourself into giving you that 30-minute time cushion, right? And the way you do this is you put your appointment into your calendar 30 minutes earlier. That way, when you leave your house for your appointment and you have the appointment 30 minutes earlier, then you're going to get to wherever you're at 30 minutes earlier, or you're going to have an incidental thing that happens and that's going to take up some time or whatever, and then you'll still make it to your appointment on time. And some other things you can do to prevent these incidental things is make sure your keys, your phone, and your wallet is by the door. Make sure whichever bag you're taking with you is by the door. Any papers, anything like that, make sure those are by the door. Get your clothes out the night before so you don't have to decide what clothes you're going to wear. Just put them on the bed, put them somewhere, just lay them out, your whole outfit. Put your shoes there too, so you don't have to decide where your shoes are, look around for your shoes. These are all things that you can do to make sure that you get to the door and out the door on time and not have to look for any of these things. And now we're going to talk about your time horizon. What it is whenever the task that you are trying to complete becomes important to you when it is actually urgent. You might have a task that's 6 months out, and at that point, it's not urgent, but it gets within 2 weeks and then it's urgent, and you're like, wow, this is urgent right now. I need to finish it. It is super important for me to finish. It wasn't important 6 months ago because it's 6 months out. It's not really important right now. But now it's 2 weeks out and I really need to finish it right now. And so when it enters that point to where it's important to you, to where you're like, I have to get done now, or there are going to be some major consequences for me. So that is your time horizon. Whenever that deadline becomes super important to you, it is like the top thing for you at that point. But what I say, when you see something 6 months out, it's not important at the time. You may think that, hey, I really need to get this done, but it just doesn't come in your time horizon. Is not important to you at that time. Because when you have ADHD, you have two categories, not right now and the right now category. And 6 months is in the not right now category. I mean, think about it. You can worry about the 6 month out thing, or there's so many interesting things you can do. You can go see a movie, you can go do this activity you want to do, you can start a hobby, whatever you want to do, and not worry about that 6 month out activity quite yet. So the question to think about for yourself is, when does something become in the right now category? How close does the deadline have to be for you to go, hey, this is important. I need to finish it right now. I need to start it right now. I need to go just work all the way through it until I'm done right now. And once you know when your time horizon is, then you can plan around it and it will help you to complete things. And now you're breaking this big goal into little smaller goals where you're going to complete work along the way. But every so often you have this deadline and that keeps it being urgent. So you keep doing the work. And then you'll be surprised at that 6 month mark when you need to finish whatever you're trying to finish, you will have completed it on time. But wait, there's more. Not to the video, but more that you can learn about executive function. You should watch this next video about reducing procrastination. Thanks for watching. You just seen an episode of the Reward Fitness Podcast. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Whether you're on YouTube or a podcast app, I appreciate you. Go and click the subscribe button for me. Also, you can find this podcast on any digital platform. If you're on YouTube, go and leave a like and a comment as well. I thank you again. Have a great day.